Hello, welcome to Shed Life. I'm back from Ray's. I got a whole bunch of things shipped to me, and I also went to Angry Catfish to pick up some parts. And so I'm going to do another update on this bike, even though I haven't really installed much more. I do have the cranks installed now. I have the grips installed. They're not really tight or anything. Nothing's really tight and in its final place on this bike yet. Mostly just installing everything. I'd say the cranks are the only thing that's like officially installed at this moment. I still have to cut the steer, all that stuff. So lots yet to do on this bike. After Ray's was fun, by the way. Good time. I do have a video. It's a long video, but it's worth watching if you want to hear all the details about that place and my opinion on the difference between my low side and my BMX bike and stuff like that. So, pretty cool. Anyway, back to this. I have all the stuff down here that I ordered. All this stuff is like the oils I need for my fork, spanner wrench, all that stuff, so I can change the travel into my fork. So I will be doing a video on how to change the travel, but I'm going to do a full-length video, everything from removing the lowers, getting all the stuff set up, because once you remove the lowers, you got to remove the mechanism in here that adjusts the travel. And again, I don't even know what side, so I have to watch some videos, figure it out, because I've never done this before. So another one of these videos where, hey, Shed has never done this before, and he's going to dive right in and take his fork all apart. So I'm going to lower it down to 120 millimeters to start off with. It's at a 140 right now, but 140 I already know is way too much with a 29er wheel on the front. It's going to throw the geometry all off and be way different than my Hayduke tie. So I want it to be pretty spot on with the out of the box geometry that this frame is set up for. So that's my plan. You might have noticed this guy. P&W loam dropper. This also came in while I was at Ray's. I have a few things to say about this. One, P&W, if you're looking for an extremely reliable post, something that just works, reliable, everything, awesome. They are the post to get. They're affordable. This was $209. This is the top of the line one they make, the loam. Good stuff. But I got it. I'm over budget on this bike, so as of right now, I'm at about $2,200. That was not what I was planning on spending, but of course I got carried away. That's the way I am. And of course, I spent a lot of money on the pedals, $200 pedals. I could have got another pair of $50 one-up pedals or something, which I love. They're just fine, but I wanted blue, I wanted some bling, so I went a little bit costly here. I actually didn't go as high end on the crank as I was initially planning on doing, but these are almost $200. The crank's at $50 some for the chain ring. You know, just here alone, you're looking at about $500 and some just in the drivetrain. Oh, bottom bracket, so maybe $525, right? So yeah, I'm over budget. So I'm gonna reuse my SLX brakes. I've mentioned that before. I have them on here. The levers are really beat up, so I did order some XT brake levers, and so I have new olives and all that stuff, so I can swap out the brake levers. I have the SLX brake, the rear one here, so I have to use an olive to install that. The other thing I have are rotors, and you'll also notice I kind of went budget on these. This clean sweep rotor, been around forever. Like, it is crazy how long these have been around, and they're still one of the better rotors out there for just your basic rotor. if you don't know, SRAM owns Avid now. They bought them out a long time ago. And then the SRAM 160, 180 with the SLX brakes. So these are less than $50, like $45 and $47. The reason why I'm going more budget here is because I'm over budget on the bike, and I'm not doing downhill. I'm not doing extreme things where I need to have the most premium braking power, at least not off the bat. So these will do, I know they work, SLX dual piston brakes. I'm gonna have plenty of braking power. So that's what I'm doing, and I might down the road do some experiments with the brake. So before I talk about experiments, I want to talk a little bit about the wheel size thing, because I was curious, and I've never really measured wheels, but I would decide to measure the full overall diameter of each of these now that I have tires on them, to see what's the difference. When it's a mullet, what is the difference in overall diameter? So I measured this. If you don't know, 27.5 is the designation of what your wheel size is once the tire is mounted. And I don't know what size tire they generally do. Maybe a 2.2 would be my guess. Would be the standard tire for the overall diameter measurement of 2.7. 27.5. But with a 2.6 tire, this comes to 27 3/4, so 27.75. So not quite 28 inches, really close. And then this one, I was a little surprised, but when I measured it, this also is a 2.6 tire. Keep in mind these are different tire brands and tread patterns, so, and I'm measuring from tread to tread. So this might just be a beefier tire, even though it's designated as a 2.6. But this came out to 30 inches overall diameter, and it should technically come out to 29 inches. I'm actually surprised this doesn't come more to 28 something, but it didn't. So 30 inches and 27 3/4. So we're looking at a 2 1/4 inch difference between overall diameter between the wheels. So how much of a difference will that make? Well, this is the reason why I need to lower the travel of the fork, because if it's going to raise this doing math, 1 inch and an eighth, 1 1/8 inch is going to raise the front end that much compared to running a 27.5 wheel in here. And it's a 29er fork, which also has a higher axle to crown. So I want to keep the geometry as close to my Esker Hayduke tie as I can. But running Mullet, it's definitely going to slack it a little bit. So experiments. What are the experiments that I plan on doing? Well, I've been talking about them, but the first one is Mullet, obviously. Do I like the bigger wheel size on the front? And I will swap back and forth. I can just literally take that wheel off of I can take the wheel off of either one, but I want to stick with aluminum and keep the weight similar. So I'll take the wheel off of my Rustler and put it on here. It's a 27.5 by 2.6 with a similar tire. So I will do some comparisons between what it's like to ride in Mullet form versus regular form. And then that's my first experiment. Forgetting what I'm even talking about. My first experiment is this Mullet thing. Do I like it? Is it the way to go? Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm starting out single speed, but I do want to experiment with box 9 is my guess. I've already done Advent X, which is 10 speed, pretty decent range of gears. We're all used to 1x12, and box 9 claims that you don't really need 12 gears. They claim that they've got these 9 primary gears and that you should be able to ride just fine with only 9 speeds versus 12 speeds. Well, I'm going to test that theory out. So box 9 is probably what I'm going to test on here. That probably won't be till like middle of next summer because I going to ride at single speed first, right? So we'll see. And then what was the other experiment I wanted to do? I know I had 3 of them. Oh, brakes. The reason I'm going cheap brakes right now, and if you've been watching this build, I toyed with the idea of getting Paul clampers, but just way over budget, like $650 for brakes and so on and so forth. So I will do some brakes next summer. I'm really thinking Paul clampers might be the ones I'll try out. They're mechanical. Everybody rants and raves about them like they're the greatest thing. Only one side moves, but even Paul himself says your rotor flex isn't all that important. You don't need to worry about it. And I know TRP makes brakes where both sides move and things like that. All of that stuff. So Paul clampers are probably going to be the thing, but I'll wait until middle of next year to do that and put it in that budget of adding to this bike. So that's pretty much it. Those are my different experiments that I'm going to do with this. What's really cool about this is I have my bikes over here. They're set up how I want them. My Rustler, my Hayduke tie, I love how they ride, and so I don't want to mess around with my just normal bikes that I mountain bike with all the time, because if I do and I don't like it, then I'm gotta switch it back really quick. This bike, I'll be able to experiment with it. I'm not gonna be as concerned about weight as I'm gonna be concerned about how does it ride, how does it feel, what's the geometry like with different configurations. I'll play around with the different travels, and I'll do, at some point I'll do this setup. I'm not gonna start that way, but it'll be the Mullet with 140 millimeters of travel, so it'll really slacken it out. What does that feel like? Is riding a tight, twisty trail like Theodore feel okay with it being all slacked out like that with a big front wheel? We'll find out sometime next summer. So cool. There you have it. I really do appreciate your support for my channel. I'm super excited about this project. Not only that, but this bike looks really cool. Oh, by the way, they do make different color bands here. They're just out of stock on the blue bands on the seat post. I will get the blue band when it's available and swap that out, so there'll be a little bit of blue up there by the saddle. Yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. I'm really glad I got these blue handlebars now that I can see it with the black and stuff. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Peace.